Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series live from Martinsville Speedway. Getting ready for the last race in the round of 8 championship week coming up next week at Phoenix. And the drivers got rolling off. We got off to a bit of a late start. I did have some issues getting in, and I apologize about that. So we're not going to make it through your entire starting grid here tonight as the drivers get ready to roll off. The important thing, though, is the people we got up here in the top 4. Joshua Watson, Austin Fitzgerald, currently top 2 in points. Looking good to make to the next round. Cody Richardson, Kyle Oakley going to be making up row 2. Looks like we'll have time to go a bit farther here, so we'll try to bring up your starting grid here for just a moment. Going on back to 5th and 6th, it's going to be Matthew Cox and Brian Conklin. Jeff Marble will start from 7th. Andrew Kotz got his outside in 8th. Thomas O'Hara and Tyler Marble going to be rounding out your top 10 here tonight. Row 6, Jeff Shutt and Jared Bundy. Danny Gutierrez, Jacob Musso make up row 7. It's going to be Bill Benedict and Dave Sanders in row 8. Cody Matthews, Johnny McCulchuk, row 9. And Adrian Watts, Glenn Grigsby rounding out your top 20. Brett Spod starts 21st. Scott Glasso in 22nd. Jeffrey Souza back in 23rd. Alan Pajari 24th. Matthew Gearinger rounding us out for a 25-car field tonight. 250 laps. 3 guys looking to punch their tickets to the Final 4 here tonight. Watson's locked in. Everybody else in the top 8, final 8 rather, round of 8, looking to see if they can get in themselves. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Martinsville. Lap 1 is going to go to Joshua Watson, pulling away to an early lead, working that bottom line. And in fact, he got off to a phenomenal jump. You see he's already been able to stretch it to almost a second worth of gap. And Martinsville is going to be one of those tracks. I think we're going to see quite a few cautions here tonight. But a couple changes in the rules for tonight, so that might help keep things clean. And as we go back, everybody has single filed out fairly quickly here. Tyler Marble working to the inside of Danny Gutierrez in the 08. Tyler, another one of the guys looking to see if they can make it in. Ooh, Jacob Musso into the outside wall, a couple rows back. The 95 just got in way too hot. Car did not stick. And that's some contact early. Going to be the first victim to the wall tonight at Martinsville. I think we're going to see that a couple times, but a little bit of an odd spot to hit it at. And the next gens, they handle very well. And the yellow flag is out. First caution of the night. Had a feeling we'd see this maybe a little bit earlier than we expected. And there it is, looking for exactly what brought it out here. Looks like it might have been Jared Bundy in the 6 machine. As we go back here, 6 car currently by himself, and yeah, it looks like he has had issues of some sort. Don't see any damage though on the 6 machine, so I think he's okay. And so let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, this is coming off of turn 4, and looks like the car is just going to come around on. Was there any contact with the wall? No, there's not. A lot of power at these short tracks. You got to be really easy getting on the throttle and take a listen here. I mean, you hear Jared doesn't mash it, trying to get on slow, but the back tires just don't stick. Sends him around, makes some light contact into the inside wall. Don't think, again, that does any damage that he's going to need to worry about really repairing, especially being here at Martinsville. Nobody else gets collected either, as everybody else was able to drive by this one on the outside. Lets it roll a little bit more just to get out of harm's way. And so that does indeed bring out our first caution of the night. And I'll tell you what, it might have been timely. Again, with getting here in the booth late tonight, again, apologize to everybody watching. Usually like to get off to a pretty good start time. Just didn't quite work out for me here tonight. But nonetheless, we went through your starting grid. The race info, pretty same as usual. I mean, 250 laps. It's a 500-mile event here for the Martinsville Fall 250. Looking at the weather outside, currently partly cloudy skies, 83 degrees, 43% humidity. Winds at 5 miles an hour. Track temp when we got this race started under 100 degrees. We'll see if it stays that way. Everybody does have 4 sets of tires tonight. 100% fuel as always. No fast repairs. And of course open setups, which is why we're seeing so much of a difference of speed between all these guys here tonight. But you got to remember that Austin Fitzgerald was fast when we came here in the spring. No surprise to see him still running up in your top 3. Matthew Cox has carried some good momentum through the playoffs, although not a playoff driver. He currently rounds out the podium. And then there is Cody Richardson back and forth, looking to see if he can make a championship berth here tonight. He's going to have to find a way to punch his ticket in. And I think before we get green, it's important to show everybody exactly what we're looking at here in terms of where everybody stands coming into tonight. Again, last race before the championship 4 race next week at Phoenix. And you take a look at it there, Joshua Watson, the little star next to his name, got the win. to kick us off at Las Vegas. Got himself locked in. And, of course, got the win last week at Homestead as well. Austin Fitzgerald looking pretty good in points. Jeff Marble 10 to the good as it stands right now. Danny Gutierrez 5. But you see a couple of big hitters that are fast early sitting just outside right now. And Tyler Marble and Cody Richardson at the same time. You can't forget about Andrew Kotzker, Brian Conklin, but I think one of those two guys is probably going to need to somehow find their way into victory lane here tonight if they want a chance to make it to Homestead. So the space car pulls off for the first time tonight. We're going to see a restart as they roar back into the Geico restart zone. Through the gears we go. Green flag is back in the air. Watson off to another good start as the field all tries to get it figured out before we get down into turn 1. Things narrow up quickly. Watson out with the lead. So they go down the back straightaway off turn 2. Was looking to see if there's going to be some contact out back. I think it was just guys trying to get it settled. You see Conklin looking to the inside. That is 3 wide. Not something we're going to see much of here tonight. Bill Benedict washes way up the track. And it looks like they got this issue sorted out. That's Kyle Oakley on the outside. Now all these guys continuing to fight for whatever real estate they can get. We got a lot of driver cams. They're going to be fun to ride on board with here as the night goes on. But still letting everybody get things settled out as Tyler Marble will stay side by side with Kyle Oakley. Tyler, with those troubles that he had at Las Vegas, is what put him in this position. I mean, he was looking to probably easily go all the way to the Final Four with the consistency he has had the entire season and through the playoffs. But, man, coming down the stretch with that issue at Vegas, you see just how hard it is to recover even with just that one issue, as Tyler Marble has been trying to bounce back since. Joshua Watson has led all of them so far. You see he's got the gap up just to where he left it when the caution came out at over a second now on Austin Fitzgerald. And Matthew Cox took that position away from Austin Fitzgerald, currently now sitting in that second spot. And we'll see if the 32 can roll here tonight. Different setups for both of those guys, but showing a lot of speed here early and a lot of promise. Matthew Cox with 1 win on the season. Boy, he would sure like to add a second one before this thing's all said and done. And in terms of the playoff guys, if you're good here at Martinsville, there's a good chance you're going to have some speed at Phoenix as well. Both of these tracks, short tracks. Conklin's going to get turned around. That'll draw the caution. And your first playoff driver of the night with troubles as he gets spun back around. Unfortunately, though, he is going to lose every single position that he has gained on the track so far as he goes to the back. And it looks like nobody else will get collected. Oh, just as I say that. But man, oh man, that was a close call there after Joshua Watson had just caught back up. That had to make Josh's heart skip a beat there for a second. They both get it sorted out. And again, Brian will be okay here. Doesn't have any damage. But it's going to be the fact that he just lost all this track position. Let's go take a look here at what happens to the 37. He's got his teammate, Tyler Marble, racing behind him. You see just how condensed things are getting right here. And as they go through 3 and 4, a little bumper contact, and Tyler Marble just gets into the back of his teammate. Sends him around. Nothing intentional there. Just like I said, kind of that checkup rolling. I think Tyler thought that Brian was going to roll maybe a little bit more, but you saw Andrew Kotzka with a checkup in front of him and just kind of amplifies. There's the 37, has to put on the brakes. 48 puts on the brakes too, just a little too late. And it does not take much. There goes Conklin around. Oakley does a good job here, stinking by on the outside. 37 holds the brakes, comes to a stop. And take one more onboard view here from the cockpit of Tyler Marble, and you can see just how quick he's trying to react in a situation like this. Just so hard to do sometimes. Back that up a little bit further. And so as they get down into the turn, it looks like everybody's rolling pretty good, and then all of a sudden, yeah, just a little bit of a checkup. Tyler's car looked like it was rolling really good through the middle. The 3 guys in front of him, not so much. And so Conklin will probably bring it down here, get any little nicks that he needs repaired. Get back out on track. Joshua Watson still your leader, 17 laps in. Matthew Cox in second. Austin Fitzgerald back in third. Jeff Marble fourth. And Cody Richardson rounding out your top 5. And hey, look at this. Start of the broadcast. Richard Elliott with the $10 super chat. Just now noticing it as we came in a little bit late. Richard Elliott, appreciate you watching here tonight. And we certainly appreciate the $10 super chat. Says, let's go Team JBR. JBR E-Racing, we know they've already got 1 locked into the Final Four, looking to see if they can find a way to get 2 with Danny Gutierrez. Danny right there on that bubble, so it's going to be a fun one to watch here again tonight. But again, big thanks, Richard Elliott. And as much as we appreciate it, I would say, I think overall we've kind of tried to maybe go away a little bit from the super chats, simply because just not really getting the money from him. So not sure what's going on. Seems like YouTube's maybe having some issues for him. I know in our total time of doing them here, I think we made, from the support of all you guys, we probably earned a total of we were doing the math, it was somewhere between I think it was $300 and something worth of super chats. And I think I've only seen maybe a total of like $90 to $100 worth of that. So certainly don't want you guys wasting your money. And at this point, if you're out here having a good time, just let us know in the chat, like, comment, and we certainly appreciate it. Joe Williamson in the chat says, go Danny G. Danny Gutierrez currently sitting decent position just inside the top 10 in that 10th position. Going to be starting on the outside here. Not the best place to start so far, I know we haven't ran that many laps. Tires haven't had a chance to fade, but the outside just does not even look like it's an option here tonight. That cool track temp is not going to help that case either. So we'll see if anybody can maybe find something here to work with on the restart. Matthew Cox, the rookie, the first time he's going to line up on the front row here tonight. So we'll see if maybe he can find a way to work this outside on the 01, but I think Joshua Watson is looking to set sail again here as they work their way out of turn number 4. Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Joshua Watson going to get a little bit of a jump down into turn 1. He dives it in. And there you go. You see Matthew Cox. He put it in there probably as hard as the car was willing to go, and it just doesn't stick for him. Quickly was able to jump in line behind Austin Fitzgerald, though, so he won't lose that many positions. And we'll see. I think Fitzgerald continues to try to play the patience game. I think he might have a long run setup here for the Knights. But with as much as cautions are an issue, you got to wonder how many long runs are we really going to see. Looking at the fuel window for these guys, I would have to assume it's probably somewhere right around maybe 100. It's quite a few laps here. Again, the track's only about half a mile. So these guys are going to make it quite a distance on fuel. I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 100 laps. Didn't get the official fuel count pre-race. But I'll tell you what, as we continue to tick off laps here in the early stages, we look up front, Joshua Watson, your leader. Let's take a ride on board with the 01 machine. See just what it's like to ride around the track they call the paperclip. You see, as he gets down into turn 1, holds a nice steady line, trying to do everything he can in his power to just hug the curb. That's the fastest line around. Does upshift once, gets down to 3rd gear. A little bit of an arc right there through 3 and 4. I think he missed the corner just a bit. And getting the pedal down has got to be the hardest part. It's so tempting to just floor it. You can't. You got to stay nice and patient on the throttle. You get just a little bit too greedy, and the car will come around on you in a hurry. So he's got a 3rd to 4th gear setup. I would assume that's what we see most people have here tonight. But Matthew Cox, the rookie, running something a little different here. You see he does not upshift. He's got it set up where it maxes RPMs out about 3/4 of the way down the straightaway. And I think what this will do is translate to maybe a little bit more long-term speed for this 32 machine. We'll have to see if it works out that way for Matthew Cox or not. Austin Fitzgerald currently sitting back in 3rd. Not one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Cody Richardson back in 4th. And Tyler Marble looking to make a pass right now on the 46 machine. This is the battle for 4th. And just as I was saying earlier, nobody can make this outside work. Looks like Cody is doing a little bit right here, but you see, just can't make it stick on exit. And he will have to surrender that position to the 48. Tyler Marble already up 6 from where he started tonight. You can tell that he's on a mission. Andrew Kotska back in 6th. Jeff Marble currently running back in the 7th position inside the top 10. I think he's another one of the guys probably looking to see if we can get to a long run here tonight. Kyle Oakley in the 17. Rocking the Ghost Racing Network onboard cam for us here tonight. Holding a nice steady wheel. And I'll tell you what, it amazes me each and every week, the guys that use sequentials, how they can make it work as easy as they do. You got to remember, it is not an easy thing to do to reach down there at a track like Martinsville. Some of them only have to shift once. I don't think anybody actually has a setup where they have to shift twice here tonight. And then your final onboard camera for us here tonight is going to be Johnny Mikulchuk. And actually, I take it back, Austin Fitzgerald did choose to hop on one of the onboard cams for us here tonight. We'll take a look at him in just a minute. And that's a pretty cool looking picture. The two No Excuses Racing drivers, Jeff Shutt and Johnny Mikulchuk, currently running right next to each other here is the 72, trying to figure out where he got this damage from. See, it's all on the front end. Looks like he hit a lamp pole. And so that's going to maybe cost him just a little bit of speed. Shouldn't affect him too bad at a track like Martinsville. And as we go back up front, Austin Fitzgerald, who currently sits 3rd, getting pressure now by Tyler Marble. There's the onboard view for the 74 machine. We saw how good of a run Austin had at Homestead last week. Wasn't quite enough to get the job done. But again, kept himself comfortable on points coming into this week. He said, remember how good I was last time we were here at Martinsville? Things didn't work out with some strategy play. And everybody always gets nervous about if we were to get a caution right as you pit. You get put at least 2 laps down here at Martinsville. And man, it's just so hard to make up. If somebody stays out, catches a break with a caution, you can certainly lose a ton of time. So as Joshua Watson continues to tick off laps here, Matthew Cox currently sits about 1.3 seconds behind the 01 machine. And again, still not expecting pit stops at this rate, at least for probably sometime about another 70 to 90 laps, anywhere between that region. But once they pit, we'll have a better idea of it. Tyler Marble looking to see if he can steal this 3rd spot from Austin Fitzgerald. Has been putting pressure on him here for a little bit. Haven't seen anybody start to slip up in terms of getting loose yet. We'll see if that stays the same. And the 48's now looking to see if he can take a peek to the inside here. A lot of times guys will kind of poke their nose out down the straightaway until they start to get impatient. That's where we see the classic Martinsville bump and run. We'll see if Tyler Marble has to do anything of the sort right here to Austin Fitzgerald. I think he'll take his time. Still has well over 200 laps to go in this race. No rush. So he takes another look to the inside. Fitzgerald just able to get better acceleration though off the corner. And again, what we saw earlier is that, the bump and run, it doesn't work too well. You saw Tyler give a little shot right there to Austin Fitzgerald. I was waiting to see when he was going to try it. But man, as little of a shot as it was, didn't send the 74 out of the groove. Instead, just got him really, really loose. So I think Tyler probably has the notepad out right now taking notes, saying, yeah, that might not work too well. Going to have to find another way around. But man, certainly a lot tougher to get past here than it was in the Cup race on Sunday. Cody Richardson starting to close in on this battle, and now you see on the 48 machine, the brake rotor starting to glow just a little bit as these guys continue to put a ton of brake. And tell you what, the 48 is using a ton of rear brake right now. Let's see if we can get a better angle of this for Tyler Marble. Go to the right rear cam here. And there you go. You see the brake rotor. Can't circle it for you, but right there you see it start to glow as he gets on the straightaway, fades out. And then watch as he gets back down in the corner. You'll see it start to glow up bright red. There it is. These guys using a ton of brake here tonight at Martinsville. Compare that to the right front. In fact, let's go to the left front. And as he gets down in the corner, there it is. You see the left front even starting to glow. Nobody has to worry about brake failures here, though. It's just more or less, you don't want to overwork your tires. A long run, you're going to need them. But Tyler Marble did a nice job making that pass, and that does indeed move him up to 3rd. Matthew Cox still 2nd. It looks like he's maybe trimmed down the lead here just a little bit. On your leader, Joshua Watson has it down to almost a 2nd now. And so we'll see how Watson tries to counter this strategy here. And again, when it is time to pit, do guys decide to pit early, late, split it down the middle? I almost think I'm a fan of pitting as late as possible, with just how worried I would be about potentially getting that caution as soon as you come in. It ruined Austin Fitzgerald's race in the spring, and certainly could potentially ruin somebody else's if they were to work that strategy. As Joe Williamson says, Fast Track is so much better than Monday Night Football. You got that right. Especially playoff racing for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. And next week at Phoenix, let your friends, family know. That's going to be one of the ones you don't want to miss. Similar to Daytona, there's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion for all the guys in the Final Four going into that one. We saw how much it meant to Joshua Watson just to get in. And you know how much it's going to mean to any one of the Final Four if they can get the job done. And now Tyler Marble, man, I'm telling you, this 48 machine, he is finding a ton of speed here. All of a sudden, has now tracked down and looking to make a pass here on the rookie, Matthew Cox. All of a sudden fell about half a second. Not sure if Watson heard me up here, but he figured something out. Started making up a ton of more time. And Tyler Marble setting himself up for how he's going to make this pass. He's just able to get down into the corner so much deeper through the middle. Rolls off better as well. Matthew Cox almost looks like maybe overdriving it here a little bit. Tyler Marble is going to duck out to the inside. No run yet, but the one's going to give him a little bit of room to work with here. So as the 48 goes to the inside. Ooh, almost some contact between the two as they drag race down the backstretch. Tyler got to be real careful here. Wants to get by, but you got to take your time. As ooh, looks like we got one on the pits. That's Brett Spott in 35 with some issues. Ooh, he's got some damage. Looks like to the front of that machine. And not sure exactly where he got that from. Not showing any data, but it certainly looks like he has made some pretty hard contact with something. You would think if it was a wall, we would have saw a caution, but that's not the case. So as Watson continues to lead, Tyler Marble does find a way past Matthew Cox, and now he'll see if he can set his sights on the 0-1 of Joshua Watson. He is currently your biggest mover inside the top 10. 8 positions is no easy task here at Martinsville, and they call it the paperclip for a reason. Again, half a mile track, very narrow, no banking just about in the turns, and classic short track, right? Single groove, who can run it the fastest? And right now, Joshua Watson continues to be that guy, but he's, for the first time tonight, looks like he's going to be coming up on some lap traffic here, and sometimes this can hinder you as a leader. You're hoping guys will let you go, but they don't have to, especially when they're trying to stay on the lead lap, and it looks like the first 2 that he's going to catch is going to be Jared Bundy and Jeffrey Souza, currently sitting 23rd and 24th. And again, Watson, playoff driver, you got to think these guys will show him a little bit more respect. As you see Souza is going to go all the way to the top line, lets the 0-1 go by with no problem. Tyler probably hoping these guys will hold him up at least just a little bit. And as they work their way down through 1 and 2, Jared Bundy going to be the next in line. And then it's a little bit of a break before he's got to worry about any more. But once we start to get a pit stop in and then we start to really cycle things through, it'll get to where probably at least once to twice a lap, we'll see Joshua Watson catching some sort of lap traffic. And that's where it becomes a little bit more like rush hour, trying to maneuver your way through it the fastest than it does just who can run the lane the fastest. And Tyler Marble closed that gap up a little bit the last couple laps. Through the little bit of traffic that Watson had to go through, he got it down. Now looks like to about 1.7 seconds. And he had to get by Souza right there off of 4. Is going to lose a 10th there. Jared Bundy, though, not running a bad line. Still able to hang in front of your leader. And it doesn't look like he wants to give it up too easily. You can't blame him. But as we go back in the pack, just ahead of Jared Bundy, Alan Pajari. A little bit of a struggle here to start the night. His teammate, Austin Fitzgerald, both running similar setups, but the speed not there right now for the 34. Car's just not doing what he wants it to. Glenn Grigsby up in 21st. Cody Matthews in 20th. Matthew Geiringer in 19th. Bill Benedict in 18th. Jacob Musso 17th. Brian Conklin in 16th. Johnny McCulchuk up in 15th. Jeff Shutt in 14th. Scott Glasso in 13th. Adrian Watts in 12th. Thomas O'Hara sits 11th. Kyle Oakley in 10th. Dave Sanders in 9th with Danny Gutierrez in 8th. Jeff Marble 7th. Andrew Kotska 6th. Cody Richardson, the last man inside your top 5. Austin Fitzgerald 4th. Matthew Cox in 3rd. Tyler Marble 2nd. And JBRE Racing's Joshua Watson still leading the way at Martinsville. Here we go. He's got another run on the 6th. Not going to take it yet as tires continue to wear out. And I mean, you remember the throttle time that we heard earlier for the 0-1 on and off the corner. Take a little listen in comparison here. And in fact, speaking of dashboard speeds, take a look. This late in the run, these guys get down in the 60s through the corner. And with the shifting on the straightaways, they get up to about 120 miles an hour. And as he gets down again, man, the car just looks like it's handling so well for Josh. I mean, he doesn't even look like he's getting any sort of loose out of the corner right now, which I mean, we saw a couple guys struggling with earlier. Brian Conklin and Jared Bundy. There's a little bit of a snap of the wrist there as he works his way off of turn number 4. That's going to make it 56 laps now completed. Would you believe me if I told you we were only a 5th of the way through this race so far? As you go back in the field, Kyle Oakley holding off Adrian Watts. That is another one of the JBRE Racing drivers in the 03 machine. Scott Glasso just behind these two. He's up 10 from where he started, still 2 positions outside of the top 10, but he's making up a lot of ground, and these two still have not found a way to separate from each other. And that's Jeff Shutt and Johnny McCulchuk. The damage has not affected Johnny too bad up to this point, and he's actually gained 4 spots total from where he started this race at. Looks like John in the chat says, hey, Ghost Racing Network, just wanted to check in with my people and watch some good Ghost Racing Network. Well, we certainly appreciate you checking in, John. Hope you're having a good night. The FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series getting their final race out of the way before the championship for a little bit of a smaller field. I think maybe we see a little bit of a bigger one next week for the final race of the season. It's been pretty chaotic to get to this point, but it has been a fun one so far. Dave Sanders, the back bumper of Jeffrey Souza, that isn't for position. These two are, but man, this point in the run, you can see we're really just not getting any passes on anybody right now. I mean, Jeffrey Souza, one of the lap cars, of course, he's getting passed, but in terms of lead lap cars, nobody's really able to find enough speed to get by. You see the brake rotors continue to glow. This is just how much brake they're having to use to slow the cars down at this point in the run. And I thought Jeff Marble would have made up a couple positions by now. We talked about he likes these long runs. And we're starting to get into a little bit of a longer run right here as we are now 60 laps into the race and over 30 laps from when we last went green. But still nothing doing just yet. And as Tyler Marble had started to close the gap up on your leader, Joshua Watson, Joshua was able to stretch it back out to 2 seconds, but he caught Grigsby in a bad area. Big wiggle for the 01. That's going to cost him all sorts of time. And you know Joshua Watson probably not too big of a fan of that right there, as now he's going to tense up, grab the steering wheel just a little tighter for a couple laps, as Tyler Marble now under a second because of that little mistake. And that's all it takes. Just caught Glenn in a little bit of a bad area. Wasn't expecting the mid-corner checkup. He got it, and man, it was a wicked, wicked save for the 01. That certainly could have made things a lot worse. Tyler Marble starting to try to work his way around Jared Bundy, and it looks like Watson was able to compose himself pretty quickly as he starts to stretch it back out piece by piece. And I think next time Josh gets to the back bumper here of Grigsby, Glenn might want to move out of the way. I don't think the 01's going to be quite as friendly this time. He's saying, hey man, I have got to go. Glenn Grigsby running a different line again. Don't think Glenn really meant to hold him up right there. Just a little bit of, I almost want to say, just bad timing. That's what's going to happen with the lap traffic here at Martinsville, especially when it's only a one-groove track. I mean, when we go to a track like Bristol, it's still a factor, but a couple different grooves there, guys can get out of the way a little bit easier. You see Watson closing up on the back bumper through the middle of the corner. Tyler Marble also trying to do the same, but he continues to fade. And I think we're going to see Watson make the move here, probably down into turn 1. He's going to arc it through the middle of the corner, looking to get a good run off. Grigsby, though, doesn't look like he's going to let him have it. Watson's going to poke his nose to the inside. Looks like now Grigsby is going to let him go as they work their way down into 1 and 2. No contact between the two. They'll keep it clean. Next up is going to be Cody Matthews in the 10 car. Going back a little bit further. 3 cars all battling right now for the 5th position. Jeff Marble here. Is he going to maybe look to see if he can make a pass on the outside here? That would be the first time we've seen that work tonight. I think he might have just overshot a little bit. As again, just don't think that the outside's really the place to be at all here tonight. But Jeff Marble gave it a shot, and you could kind of try a little bit to maybe arc the car a little bit on entry and then get the run out, or of course dive below going in on entry to corner like what we saw kind of with Joshua Watson as he went by Glenn Grigsby. And that's where you get into the decision of, does a guy feel like you have that position or not? That all depends on, does he give it to you or not? And it was looking here, it looks like maybe Jeff had a little bit of front end damage. Couldn't tell for sure. Let's take a look from the gearbox. No, I guess 15's front end looked clean. I thought he had maybe just a little bit of a dent. And we have seen plenty of guys have to use the chrome horn already here tonight. I think we're going to see plenty more. Austin Fitzgerald doesn't look like he's been able to find much more speed yet. In fact, lost a little bit now as he has faded back to this group of 3 that was battling for 5th. And this will now all turn in to the battle for 4th. Did mean to ask anybody watching here tonight, let me know how the audio sounds. Felt like it was maybe a little quiet the last couple weeks, so I tried turning it up a little bit. Let me know how it sounds, if it's okay, too quiet, too loud. Where we stand on it, certainly appreciate it. So Watson continues to lead. Looks like he'll get a little bit of a break from the lap traffic again, as the gap between him and Tyler Marble still sitting at 1.2 seconds. And the next 2 in line to go lap down is going to be Alan Pajari and Matthew Gearinger. And if this race continues to go green, we'll get to a point towards the latter portions of this race where it'll be just about everybody but your top 5 not on the lead lap. See how everybody decides to work it out. All right, 72 of 250 laps complete here at Martinsville. Joshua Watson leading the way for JBR E-Racing, looking to sweep the round of 8. Can he do it tonight? Stick with us. We'll be right back. Back live at Martinsville Speedway, Joshua Watson still leading the Martinsville Fall 250, but starting to really reel him in now is Tyler Marble. You saw it all when we were non-stop. The gap earlier had been at over 2 seconds. A couple ups and downs, but now it has been consistently closing all the way down to about 0.7 of a second. And you kind of ask yourself, has the 48 maybe found something? Or has the 01 maybe used up his stuff a little more than he wanted to? I'll tell you what, though, getting there and trying to pass him, two completely different things. And the 48 is going to have some struggles here trying to get by Joshua Watson. Even if he gets to him, Joshua Watson's biggest fear right now is going to be any lap traffic ahead of him, because now one slip-up would be a pass, not so much him just catching. And you can see he has got a whole herd of cars that will be coming up here to lap in sometime about probably the next 20 to 25 laps, all kind of spread out. Joshua Watson, of course, running the Breast Cancer Awareness Month paint scheme. Going to be the last time it is run here for the season. Got a win at Las Vegas with it. So proud, dedicated it to his mom and all the women out there fighting breast cancer. It's a good looking scheme for Joshua Watson. He said he wanted to see, could he get it in victory lane one more time here tonight? We shall see at the end of this race. 88 laps complete, pit stops. Still don't see any yet. I don't think they're too close on the horizon just yet. Still going to have to make it, I think, sometime to probably lap maybe 125 before it would start to really become a thought. And further back here, Danny Gutierrez currently sitting in that 9th position. Cody Richardson just ahead of him. And if we actually want to go back here real quick, so what we're looking at for the point situation for anybody that missed it earlier, and actually break down a little further what we might be looking at right now. And again, there's a couple extra points for different things, so I don't want to put this as exact. But if you take a general look right now at guys looking in, guys looking out, Danny Gutierrez is 5 to the good. Tyler Marble was 5 below coming in. Marble currently runs in 2nd. Danny Gutierrez back in 9th. So those two at the moment would have switched places. Cody Richardson, who was also 5 out, looking to try to close that gap on Jeff Marble. I think Jeff still has that position locked up for now as Jeff runs in front of Cody Richardson. So as it stands right now, it looks like your final four at this current moment is Joshua Watson, Austin Fitzgerald, Jeff Marble, and Tyler Marble. But again, the points are going to continue to change throughout the rest of the race here. And all it takes is one mistake to ruin your race. Anything 10 points or less, caution is out. We got a big pile up here in the back. Oh my goodness. Turn 2 is a parking lot. 77 gets it spun back around. Dave Sanders and Jeffrey Souza make a little contact as they both get back going. And this is going to throw a little bit of a wrench in the strategy, as I don't know if Tyler Marble necessarily wanted to see that with the progress he was starting to make. Nonetheless, you knew it was probably coming sooner or later, so let's take a look at exactly where it starts here. We saw Jacob Musso involved. Not sure if it actually starts with the 95. Let's find out. This is going through turns 1 and 2, and oh no, the pile starts with Brian Conklin in the 77 of Dave Sanders, and then it's going to be everybody else trying to get here and not make contact. You see as they get in the corner here, looks like Brian, oh, big brake check right there for Dave Sanders in the middle of the corner. That caught Conklin by surprise. I mean, nothing he could do there. As a driver, you're in a rhythm. You're not expecting something that out of ordinary here. Watch this. Yeah, I mean, Dave Sanders just kind of puts on the brakes. I think maybe he was starting to get a little out of shape or felt like he was going to hit the car in front of him. But that checkup is what causes Brian Conklin contact. You see he gets into the corner. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think he thought he was catching the 72 of Johnny Mikulchuk a little too fast. So he puts on the brakes. Brian Conklin gets into him. The 77 goes around. So does the 37. And then a couple of these other guys just kind of piling in late with nowhere to go. We take a look at that now. There goes the first 2 cars around. Alan Pajari sneaks by, and now it's a roadblock. Jeff Shutt gets some damage. So does Jacob Musso. Thomas Sahara trying to get by. And then there's Jeffrey Souza arriving late on the scene. Him and Dave Sanders make a little contact as well. Take a couple different angles of this one here. And there's the 2 spins. Tell you what, that could have been a lot worse for a couple of these guys. The 27 of Johnny Mikulchuk did a really nice job of minimizing that. Looked like it was going to be a pretty hard impact. And then, I mean, Dave Sanders trying to get going as quick as possible. He does not want to lose any laps if he doesn't have to. So we will take one more shot at it here from TV1. There's the contact. Doesn't take much. I think that's about what we saw earlier with Tyler Marble and Austin Fitzgerald. A little bump almost sent him around. And then Brian Conklin this time on the, I guess you could say giving end, earlier on the receiving end of that similar incident. Tyler Marble just barely tapped the 37 cent around. And again, the next gens, very, very nimble until they're not. You get those back tires just enough out of shape where they don't have grip anymore, and you can just about forget about it. It's not coming back. So as we go up front, Joshua Watson being scored as your leader, 96 laps in. Tyler Marble back in second. Matthew Cox currently sitting in third. Andrew Kotska back in fourth. Jeff Marble in fifth. Austin Fitzgerald in sixth. Adrian Watts seventh. Danny Gutierrez eighth. Kyle Oakley ninth. And Johnny McCulloch currently rounding out your top 10. And tell you what, for the sake of the field, that might have been a good timed caution, because we were starting to get to that point where we were going to see a lot of guys start going a lap down. So that caution is going to bunch everybody back up that is on the lead lap and give them another chance to see if they can either go chase after your leader or at least hold on to track position here for another little while. Not 100% sure if we are quite in the fuel window just yet, much less the tire window. I would say still expecting potentially one pit stop, but I don't think we're going to see two at this point. Pace truck makes the hard left turn. Pace car, excuse me. As we work our way through 3 and 4, Joshua Watson, hand on the shifter, getting ready for the green flag. Take a ride on board with the 01 machine for this restart. Gets a good jump, does a nice job of making sure he doesn't spin the tires on the restart. And he is going to win the race down to turn 1 over Tyler Marble, who's now going to try to slot in second, and he did just that. That's a big move for the 48, because now that he's in front of Matthew Cox, won't have to worry about passing him later. Now the question is, what can Tyler Marble do with your leader, Joshua Watson? And now remember, Joshua has 2 wins on the season. Tyler, if he got a win, would lock, 2 wins in this round. Many more wins out the season, but if Tyler could find a way to get the win here tonight, it would lock him into the Final Four. Wouldn't have to worry about pointing his way in. So, he's got quite a bit less to lose, has more to lose than the 01 does here tonight. So I think he's willing to lay a little bit more on the line if he needs to. Right now, going to stay patient with Joshua Watson, breaking these tires throughout a couple of these laps here and see if he can get the speed the old-fashioned way. Jeff Marble to the inside of Austin Fitzgerald, trying to make a move. Got the preferred lane. Can he get clear off 4? Sure enough, he does. And I would say throughout this whole race, it's been very slow, but again, just seems like Austin Fitzgerald, the handling has not quite been what it was in the spring for the 74, where he was absolutely flying just about this entire race till he got messed up by strategy. Still a lot of speed as he runs inside the top 10, but I think he's looking for a little bit more, trying to break into the top 5, maybe top 3. Adrian Watts in 7th. He is up 12 positions from where he started. Danny Gutierrez in 8th. Kyle Oakley back in 9th. And Johnny McCulloch rounding out your top 10. Yellow flag is back in the air. We got another incident. Oh, further back here. Looks like that's Jared Bundy gone around again. And this is coming out of turn number 2. It looks like he's going to be the only one involved. And again, doesn't look like there's really any damage on that 6 machine. So let's see what's happening. He's running the outside here of Scott Glasso, and car just loops around on him. And we saw that the 6 was really, really loose earlier. It looks like that has not changed that much since then. And here's the onboard view. That outside line, not where you want to be. You see, watch how much wheel he puts into it here. He's trying to get it to go back low. And as soon as he gets about to the middle of the corner, just kind of snaps around on him. Not really much he could do. Man, that was a close call for one of your playoff drivers, Cody Richardson, with the big evasive maneuver to the outside. I cannot find my words here tonight. Missing that one keeps the 46 from having to take it into the pits to fix some damage. It's going to keep him up here inside the top 10. And I say top 10, but actually Cody Richardson brings it to the pits, so he will now fall outside of the top 10. As the rest of the field getting ready to go back green. At this point, I mean, we have thrown the tire strategy at least for a little bit of a loop. But I think at Martinsville, you got to prioritize track position a little bit over tires. And that's strictly because, I mean, there's only one lane of racing. So even if you have a little bit newer tires, you're not just going to fly by a guy on the outside unless the tires are just completely night and day difference. So if it's close, you stay out. I think you can try to hold that guy back. But you got to be careful with it. You do a little bit too much, again, you're going to get the chrome horn. And we have seen a lot of near calls with that today. Tyler Marble on that last restart, really aggressive, avoided making any contact with the 01 of Joshua Watson. But I think if this was coming to an overtime restart, maybe a little bit of a different story right there, as Tyler may have tried to give him a little bit of a bump out of the groove. to go by. But a lot of patience paying off right now for the 48. He's got a good car under him. See if he can cap this thing off. The way the rules were set up here tonight, 14 X's. And again, every time a driver gets an incident, whether it be something for spinning, hitting a wall, hitting another driver, you get a certain amount of incident points. And so as these guys reach 14 incident points tonight, if they do, they will have to serve a drive-through penalty. And then after that, if you make it to 22 incident points, then you will be parked for the race. Any driver that causes 3 consecutive cautions will be parked for the remainder of this race and suspended for the championship race. So keep an eye on that. I think that is going to be the second caution that they rule on Jared Bundy. And again, not that the 6 is doing necessarily anything wrong, but in an effort to keep things clean, they're hoping guys can stay clean. And the 6 just really struggling with handling. He's going to have to make some adjustments to try to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. And as we get the 1 to go signal, Joshua Watson will go ahead and take the inside. That'll put Tyler Marble on the outside. Matthew Cox lined up in row 2 with Andrew Kotska, who's now at his high so far this race, up 4 from where he started. Jeff Marble back in 5th, Austin Fitzgerald in 6th. Adrian Watts back in 7th, Danny Gutierrez in 8th, Kyle Oakley in 9th, and Johnny McCulchuk currently rounding out your top 10. Pace car is going to make the hard left turn again. Tyler Marble, we'll see if he can do something a little different on this restart. Felt like he hung pretty good though last time with the 01. And he's going to have to either try to hold him on the outside or try to slot in line behind. Back into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. It's a good jump again for Joshua Watson. Tyler Marble looked like maybe just got a slight bit of wheel spin right there. Matthew Cox this time a better restart. He's trying to push that 48 wide. Does not want Tyler to get clear. Not going to be able to do it though. Tyler Marble gets clear getting down into turn number 3. And again here, he will try to work over Joshua Watson, see if he can find a way to make the pass. Further back, looked like Bill Benedict got up track there for a moment. He can't, oh, we got a turn, the 707 of Thomas O'Hara up into the outside wall. Looked like Matthew Gearinger got down on the apron. And that now brings out your 5th caution of the night. As the 31 gets back rolling, so does the 90 and the 07. And again, another innocent couple of loop-de-loops here. Looked like maybe a little contact, though, for the 07 and the 90. And coming down the straightaway, they start to fan out. They get 3 wide, and Thomas O'Hara and Matthew Gearinger make some contact. Yeah, actually, the 07 did take a pretty good shot into that outside safer barrier. So we will see. That might be a little bit more damage than initially thought. Let's take a look at this one from the chopper view. Just 3 guys fight for the same piece of real estate, it looks like. So Benedict gets wide, and everybody's going to try to take advantage now. And still looking for it here. Does the 07 come up? No. Looks like the 31. Actually, I take that back. The 31 did start to come down, but it looks like the 07 came up. So after the 31 is now holding a straight line at this point. And yeah, Thomas O'Hara just slowly creeping up and just not enough real estate there. And he gets into the left front of Matthew Gearinger. That sends the 07 and the 90 to take a pretty good shot into this outside wall. Yeah, Thomas O'Hara didn't realize how bad that was on initial impact. And then the 31 of Gearinger gets a little lucky here as he spins down to the apron that he didn't make contact with anybody else. And so we'll take a couple more looks at this one. Here's one from the cockpit view of Bill Benedict. And everybody else sneaking by right there. Glenn Grigsby, Brian Conklin, maybe a little bit of contact, but all in all, it is going to end as a 3-car caution. That brings us to lap 112 here. Joshua Watson still leading, Tyler Marble 2nd. No real change there. Matthew Cox going to be lined up back in 3rd. But Tyler right now has to be saying to himself, man, come on. Every time I'm able to get myself into 2nd, we get another caution. He's going to need some laps to work with. But he just has not really gotten any so far. We had a couple cautions to get this race started. And we had a pretty long green flag run. A couple more cautions now. We'll see if the trend continues and we go green here on this restart for a little while. Still about 10 laps short of being halfway through this race. Everybody that's still sticking around, appreciate you being here. As we keep an eye on the points again, right now looks like Watson's looking good. Tyler Marble's looking good to advance on points. Andrew Kotska, Jeff Marble, and Austin Fitzgerald 4th, 5th, and 6th. All 3 of those guys looking to make up a couple more positions and fight for the lead here. Danny Gutierrez having a good run all in all. You just wonder to yourself, is it going to be enough depending on the position that some of these other guys finish in. I think the good news for Danny right now is where Cody Richardson's running, and that is a decent ways behind him. In fact, over 8 positions behind him. I think as that stands, Danny Gutierrez might still be hanging on to that last spot. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and take that back because Jeff Marble holding on to one of those spots. We know that Joshua Watson is locked in. Fitzgerald in one of those spots, and that 4th spot right now is actually, I believe, being captured by Tyler Marble. Danny Gutierrez, the first man outside looking in as they run. Pace car pulls off. We'll try it again. Still no green flag pit stops yet. We'll see if we can get some on this run. Tyler Marble is getting more practice at it. See if he can match your leader on this restart. Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back into the air. Tyler Marble does get a pretty good jump this time. This time he'll go down into turn 1. Dead even with Joshua Watson. Matthew Cox learning as well. The 48 is trying everything to see if he can stay out there. And he is going to do so, getting down into turn 3. We'll see how long this can last. And the only thing you worry about right here for Tyler Marble is that he gives up that 2nd position to the rookie. But he was able to get back. Now here's a big crossover. Tyler Marble maybe tried to scare Joshua Watson there a little bit by making him look in his mirror at the big jumpy move that he saw out of the 48, but nothing biting there, so he'll tuck back in line. And now he'll see if he can line up and try to catch Joshua Watson. Jeff Marble working his way to the inside of Matthew Cox, the highest Jeff has been running all night now, as he is currently battling for 3rd, up 3, about to be 4 spots from where he started. And Matthew Cox with a big wiggle right there. The 47 sticking out, splitting him now, jumps behind the 03 of Adrian Watts. Yellow flag is back out. We got trouble out back here. That looks like, is that Johnny McCulture? No, that's Jeffrey Souza. Spun around out back, and he's going to loop it around again here. He's got some rear end damage. So I'm going to take a guess and say he got some help here, whatever happened in the front end. It's pretty beat up. In fact, that might be the most beat up car that we've seen so far here tonight. Falls with 118 of 250 laps completed, and it is your 6th caution of the night. Let's go take a look at exactly what happens here to Jeffrey Souza. So this is going down the back straightaway here. And he gets loose. Gets really loose, and a little bit of an overcorrection turns him into the outside wall, and then Jacob Musso with nowhere to go makes some contact to the back. So there you see he gets a little loose, snaps back to the right when he tries to correct it. And in fact, actually you see further back, Jared Bundy, it's like he had made, that's Dave Sanders, had made pretty heavy contact with the outside wall coming off too as well. And then Souza spins it around again right there, trying to get back going. And he takes it immediately to the pits. So we take a couple different angles. Yeah, Jacob Musso, that'll give him a little bit of right front damage as well. I don't think it's too bad for the 95. I think the 96 definitely to say got the worst of that one. And so we will tick off a couple more laps. And at this rate, it's looking like there's a chance that we may eliminate green flag pit stops. It's starting to get a lot closer in terms of the window. And when we go back green, it'll be just over 125 laps to go, it looks like. So as Souza works his way out of the pits, you got to wonder at what point do all these guys come in top off and maybe hope that get a couple caution break. I still think that 125 laps is just too many laps to run on a set of tires, but I'm not these guys' crew chief. They know a lot more about it than I do. And what I do know is all these cautions just continue to waste laps that some of these guys need to try to make their way to the front. And we know some of them enjoy the long runs. Some of them enjoy the short runs. And if you're Joshua Watson here, you probably don't mind these cautions at all. It gives you another chance to get a great restart and try to pull away. And Tyler Marble keeps trying something just a little different on each of these restarts. That last time he got a good jump and tried to make the outside work. Didn't look like there was anything going that time. So we'll see if maybe he tries a little something different for this restart. And once we take the halfway mark, then that's when I think we'll start to see action maybe pick up a little bit more. Maybe patience starting to run out a little bit. But, you know, even though we've had 6 cautions, you take a look at the actual green flag racing, and everybody's been really patient with each other tonight, which you like to see. I mean, from what we saw in the spring to here today is a pretty night and day difference. Everybody's showing a lot of patience. I mean, a couple incidents, but certainly none of them have looked like the result of another driver being mad at a driver and trying to punt them out of the way. Just been a couple typical Martinsville incidents that you would expect at a track like this. And as they get the 1 to go signal, it sure enough will be Watson and Marble line up in row 1. But Jeff Marble right now is the man that's got my eye is You got to wonder, does he try to make a move on both of these two? If they mess up, I don't think 3 wide is in that 15's best interest, but we have seen Jeff pull off some crazy moves before. We'll see what he decides to do right here. Field works their way back through turns 3 and 4 again here. And for your 5th restart of the night, 6th restart of the night, green flag is back in the air. Tyler Marble gets another good jump. This time he's actually a little bit ahead of Joshua Watson as they cross the start-finish line. Trying to hold him down through 1 and 2. Watson does a really nice job, though. He's going to push the 48 a little bit wide. Tyler Marble is going to have to settle into 2nd. Ooh, gave a little bump to the 0-1 of Watson a couple different times there through the corner. Joshua was able to hold on and hang on to the position. As we look further back in the pack, still 2 wide, trying to get things sorted out here. Andrew Kotska, Matthew Cox just behind them. Danny Gutierrez gets the best of Austin Fitzgerald. It looks like it's Kyle Oakley and Jeff Shutt battling for position. Kyle Oakley and Johnny McCulchuk. And even with that damage, you see Johnny McCulchuk still continuing to have a good run here tonight. As there's the driver of the 72 for No Excuses Racing. Did not make it to the round of 8 for the playoffs, but had a good start, was able to make it to the round of 16, and still has been having some good runs, trying to cap out the season with some momentum to take into Daytona at the start of next season. And as we head back up front, all eyes going to be on this battle right here between Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble. Tyler trying everything in his power right now to find a way around the 0-1. Hasn't been able to do so just yet. And there's the side-by-side look of the 2 drivers. And I'll tell you what, I always felt like as a driver, it's a little bit easier to follow than it is to lead. Joshua Watson's doing a lot of mirror driving right now. Does not want that 48 to go by with how important track position has proven to be, especially with a lot of the cautions that we've seen. And Tyler's car just rolls so good through the middle. I think Watson's able to get in and out of the corner a little bit better. But through the middle is where we really see the 48 catch up right there. But then you see Watson's able to accelerate a little bit more on exit. So we'll see what kind of adjustments both of these guys decide to make. But Tyler just continues to put pressure on, waiting to see if Joshua maybe just slips up even a little bit. And if there was lap traffic anywhere near where these two are running right now, that would certainly get a little bit interesting, as that's when you would almost expect that Tyler would try to make his move. So as they single file out, looks like so does just about the rest of the field. Kyle Oakley on the outside is going to take that position away from Johnny McCulchuk further back. 64 of Glenn Grigsby thinking about making a dive to the inside here of Matthew Gearinger. Tell you what, we haven't got to talk about Matthew a lot throughout the season. Didn't make a full-time start, but when he does make the starts, makes the best of them. I mean, he's up 7 here tonight from where he started. Currently sitting in 18th. You got to remember, that's even after being involved in a couple different incidents. So far, Matthew Gearinger showing a lot of speed there as he's going to lose a position to to Glenn Grigsby. As we go back up front, though, Joshua Watson still leading the way, trying to put any sort of breathing room between him and the Team Marble iRacing driver of Tyler Marble. Nothing doing just yet as they now cross the line. 132 laps complete, and we are now well over halfway through this 250-mile affair. And at a certain point, you know, one of these guys are going to wear their stuff out, and that's when you wonder, back in 3rd place, does Jeff Marble have something to maybe try to close on these two later in the run and maybe try to make a pass, see if he can't get a win here before we head to the championship race next week? And, you know, I know a lot of tracks we head to, we talk about certain guys better than others. Based off everything that I have seen, whatever your championship 4 ends up being, we know Joshua Watson's going to have speed at Phoenix. Fitzgerald looking good right now. We know he would have some speed at Phoenix. Jeff Marble loves long runs. He's looking pretty good right now. And if Tyler Marble's able to take that 4th spot, you know he's going to be good at Phoenix. Speaking of Austin Fitzgerald, he has fallen back to 8th, 4 seconds behind your leader. And at this point, I think he's just trying to hold on. Again, we talked about it's been a slow trip to the back for Austin Fitzgerald since the start of this race. Not sure if he's just not really made the adjustments that he's wanted to, or again, you saw the car wiggle a little bit right there. The car's just not really working with him. But I think if these guys have a pit stop scheduled, we're going to see it come sometime between the last 150, somewhere between 50 and 100 laps to go. Tyler Marble putting more pressure now to the back bumper of Joshua Watson, still trying anything to find a way around the 0-1. Nothing doing just yet as Watson is holding his breath, trying to see if he can hang on again. And I mean, if you look at it, you say, well, why does Watson want to win so much right here? He's already got 2 wins in the round. He's making the championship 4. he's got a chance to carry even more momentum. I mean, how much momentum do you think you would take if you got 3 wins and then headed into the next race after that? I'll tell you, it is quite a bit. Of course, he's got a good-looking scheme tonight. Wants to get a win to celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And to do that, he is going to have to hold off a charging 48. These two been the class of the field since they've gotten together. But Watson continues to get that better acceleration on exit, showing that he's just running a little bit more of a conservative part of the corner through the middle, which is why Tyler Marble is able to close up a lose on exit. Tyler, though, not going to give up as you see the brake rotors continue to glow. Watson still doing a lot of work here, trying to hold off that 48 machine. And as we cross the line now, 139 laps complete. Further back, Cody Richardson and Danny Gutierrez going at it. It's a JBR E-Racing and Mad Sim Racing driver. Scott Glasso going to go by the 08 as he'll tuck in now behind the 46. Scott Glasso having a good run here tonight, currently sitting in 8th. Another driver that had made the playoffs, not making it to the round of 8 though, unfortunately. Behind him, behind a couple of these guys rather, Johnny McCulchuk still in 12th. Jacob Musso in 13th. Jeff Shutt back in 14th. Alan Pajar running at your top 15. And looks like as it stands, we have 18 cars still on the lead lap. Everybody after that has fallen a lap down. We're going to see some more fall a lap down here. And probably at least before this race is all said and done, obviously, if we were to go green. But looks like still maybe another 20 to 30 laps before lap traffic starts to become a factor. But when it does, if Tyler Marble can still stay within reaching distance, that is going to be his chance to make a move. The only problem for Tyler Marble here is I'm wondering if he maybe used his stuff up just a little too much as he's starting to fade off the back bumper of Joshua Watson. And, I mean, if you look at it, it kind of simplifies down, right? I mean, here we go. We'll ride on board with Tyler Marble. Just different lines. For the most part, I mean, Tyler looks like he actually ran a little bit of a different line right there through 3 and 4. We'll take a look over here in 1 and 2. But, yeah, there you go. Just different approaches. Watson enters the corner a little bit later. And again, gets maybe a little bit of a slower roll through the middle, but a very smooth exit where he's not using too much tire. And then Tyler, on the other hand, right here, sends it in a little bit deeper to the corner. He's going to be wearing a little bit more on the front tires. And unfortunately, it cost him that much more on exit and holding even. But again, just a chess game right now of who is going to make either the first mistake or run the way better corner than the other guy. And everybody that's still watching, we appreciate you being here. You are watching the Martinsville Fall 250 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Joshua Watson continuing to lead Tyler Marble in second. And these two, I mean, they have absolutely checked out on the rest of the field. Tyler Marble pulling away from his teammate Jeff Marble in the 15. And then Adrian Watts sitting closely behind Matthew Cox as well. Andrew Kotska before we have another big break. And is where you'll find Cody Richardson back in 7th. Not sure if he had to try a little bit of strategy or what he's going here, what he's doing, but we'll have to see how it pans out for him. Scott Glasso up 14 now from where he started. He currently sits in 8th. Danny Gutierrez in 9th. And Austin Fitzgerald rounding out your top 10. And again, I think they're at the point now as they're about getting ready to cross 100 laps to go, where everybody should be good to go on fuel whenever they decide to pit. It's just a matter of how long can your tires make it. And I think with that, we probably won't see that many pit stops until we get closer to maybe 70, 75 laps to go. I think in 70. But again, these two like magnets right now. Tyler Marble, he fades a little bit, then he catches. Then he fades, then he catches. Joshua Watson just continues to hold him off, but probably like a little bit of a fly in his face saying, man, can you go do something? Tyler ran a really good corner right there. You saw him get a little bit of arc on entry. Looking for a run here on your leader. Joshua Watson, nothing doing there. But he found something right there. We'll see if he decides to go back to it in 3 and 4. Watch the 48. The 01 had to start taking a little bit more of a defensive line. And so Tyler Marble shifted up just a little bit. Ran a little higher, but was able to arc it down sooner and get a bigger run on exit. Seems like he has went back to trying to hug the bottom a little bit more. Not sure if maybe Watson made the adjustment. Tyler now trying to counter it. That was certainly a nice change for Joshua Watson as he is, again, going to continue to hold on to the lead. I mean, I think he has led genuinely every single lap. If there was one he hasn't, it was when pit cycles under caution were cycling out or something. This guy has been phenomenal tonight. And speaking of phenomenal, I know that they haven't really had much for your leaders, but Jeff Marble, again, all you got to have is consistency, and he is Mr. Consistency when it comes to any of the tracks, such as a short track like Martinsville. Whether he likes this place or not, he has been doing a heck of a job here tonight. try to continue that trend here. And that first stop, when we have it, that is going to be the money stop if we get to the green flag stop, because only expecting one. And if you make any mistakes at all, it could bring your race to an end. I think we'll see anybody that does come in take 4 tires and fuel before going back out to try to race this thing the rest of the way under green. And as looks like we're going to be coming up on some lap traffic here in just a couple laps. You saw Matthew Gearinger and Bill Benedict drag racing side by side down into one. And as Joshua Watson catches them, that's when we could potentially see them move for the lead. We are going to take a break, and as we go side by side, you won't miss a thing. Stick with us at Martinsville. Back live at Martinsville Speedway under caution. Looks like for an incident involving Scott Glasso as we were over break. Let's take a look at what happens to the 4-car. Been talking about, he had a pretty good run going here tonight. And this looks like going into turn 3. Gets in and little contact good here. Ooh, coming out of 4, gets loose. Bit of an overcorrection, and oh man, that was Danny Gutierrez one of the playoff guys right on the bubble that ran up behind him. And you saw Scott here trying to save it, just ran out of room. Danny's trying to figure out which lane he's going, and it's just an awkward situation. But again, I don't think either driver really got their damage too bad through that one. I think they'll both be able to continue. Tough break, though, for Scott Glasso. Danny Gutierrez maybe a little damage on the front of his car as well. As we go back live, we get the one-to-go signal. Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble making up row one. They did come in to take tires, and at this point, not 100% sure. These guys, it's close. Think they're good to go on fuel. The question is only tires. So we will have to see if they can make it the rest of the way. I think if we don't see a pit stop with around 25 laps to go in this race, assuming we go green till then, and there's a pretty good possibility that these guys are going to be good to go all the way. And so this could be potentially the final restart. You never know. Tyler Marble needs to make the most of it. Joshua Watson on the inside. Green flag back in the air. A lot of wheel spin on the outside line. You saw Tyler Marble maybe make slight contact with the outside wall. No contest into one. He'll quickly have to drop in line behind the 01 as further back. This guy's getting really racy now. They know that the amount of restarts for the rest of the race starting to wind down as they go through 3 and 4. Still a lot of side-by-side action off of 4. Everybody trying to find a spot in the long single-file train. Conklin's going to jump in line. Looks like Kyle Oakley decides to stay on the outside. Big checkup right there through 1 and 2. And interestingly enough, the checkups here at Martinsville, almost like what we see at the super speedways. You get a long line. In this case, it's all single file, basically bumper-to-bumper traffic. And as part of that, here we go. Tyler Marble going to make a move. Hold that thought for a moment. 48 sending it as far as he can go on the curbs. He's going to send Watson around. Joshua Watson tries to save it. They're both going to spin. And we got a parking lot through 3 and 4. That is not what you wanted to see for Joshua Watson or Tyler Marble. Tyler felt like he had his chance. Tried to avoid contact, but contact clearly was unavoidable. And let's go back and take a look. Tyler had tried just about everything in the book to find a way around Joshua Watson. Couldn't even get to the side of him. Looks like he finally was able to get to the inside, but this is that position now that we talked about earlier here. I'm going to try to get a better angle of it. We'll play it slow where... Actually, let's go to the chopper view for this here so we can see if Tyler had actually pulled alongside of Joshua Watson here. And yeah, so sure enough, this starts all the way off of 4. He gets a phenomenal run, and he's going to take it. And as they accelerate, I mean, right there, make your decision. It's so borderline. I mean, at this moment, he's not exactly there, and that's where as a driver, both drivers, different mindsets. Watson saying, hey, man, you're not there. This is still my corner. Tyler Marble is hoping maybe Watson cuts him a little slack and hopes that if he commits far enough, maybe it scares Watson up the track a little bit. Those two colliding mindsets, they don't work out very well once we get down into turn 1. You can see Tyler just carrying way too much speed, I think, down into 1. And once he gets on these curbs, I'll tell you what, actually, does he actually make contact? It was certainly close. You would certainly think he does. Let's take a look here. He doesn't. And he doesn't. There's a little bit of netcode there. That is a really odd spot for netcode. Granted, if there wasn't netcode, I think there's still a pretty good possibility they do make some contact anyway. But yeah, just really slight netcode. Gets the left rear of Joshua Watson. That sends him around down into the 48. Now they're trying to miss it, and it's the mad dash of everybody just piling in here as they stacked up in a bad spot for the rest of the field here. Jeff Marble, Adrian Watts, both bumper tag in, and then Danny Gutierrez sneaking by the outside as Watson brings it to a halt, and man, he is going to lose all sorts of track position. That might bring the 01's chances of winning this race to an end tonight. Let's take a couple more views of this. Actually, let's take an onboard view here with Tyler Marble through this incident, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Watch how late he goes on the brakes here as he's trying everything to make sure that he can get the spot. Yeah, really, really late on the brakes, but you know, it's hard to say, right? I mean, if Tyler doesn't get on the curbs, maybe he makes it work on these newer tires. But the fact of the matter is, one driver is leaving with that second place, and another guy who's a dominant guy is going to the back. And that's part of that balance too, and one guy's got so much more he's got to risk for a chance to make the next round versus somebody else. And fortunately, it looked like at the end of the day, You're going to have opposing mindsets of it. We'll see how they decide to discuss it after tonight, as we very well could be seeing both of these drivers when we know we're seeing one of them. Joshua Watson next week fighting for a championship. Could be seeing that from Tyler as well. And at the end of the day, you got to try to put it behind you right here if you're Tyler Marble, and you got to focus forward. And if you are Tyler, this is your shot right here. You had the second, maybe the fastest car. It was really, really close between him and Joshua Watson. But at this point, anyone within the top 5, the 48's the fastest. So he's got to find a way to get around this 32 and take the lead. And hopefully he can set sail on the rest of the field. Joshua Watson, again, from that fell all the way back to 18th position. We'll see if the 01 can make the position back up before this thing's all said and done. But going to be a lot of work for sure. Green flag back in the air as they work their way through 1 and 2. This time Tyler Marble not with the best restart. He's not going to be able to get clear of Andrew Kotska. And that's going to allow Matthew Cox to get out to an early lead. Ooh, big wash up from Jeff Marble right there through 3 and 4. Further back, you see Joshua Watson in the bright pink, white, and black car trying to find anything to get around. And now Tyler's trying to take the long way around here of Andrew Kotska. Kotska washing up just a little bit. Oh, we got one spun out back. That's Jacob Musso. More contact. Oh, big pile up this time, as everybody's going to get involved in this one yet again. Looks like Cody Matthews. There was a couple hard hits in that one. Matthew Gieringer's all banged up. And so Gieringer getting back up to speed, going to take back some positions. It'll bring out your 9th caution of the night, as we have now got 174 of 250 laps complete. And ooh, bad news for Alan Pajari. That right front is heavily banged up, not spinning. That's not a good sign. That could be terminal damage that brings the 34's night to a close. Let's go back and take a look again. Saw Jacob Musso as the first man to go around. You got to ask yourself, how did he get in this position? Well, there's your answer. Thomas O'Hara in the 07, below the 95 here. Did he make some contact before this? No. Looks like Jacob's running on the outside. And did he maybe try to just slot down in line? I think that's what happens there. I think the 95 was maybe looking for a spot down in line. And Thomas O'Hara getting just a little bit off of the curb here, like in terms of not quite running as low as he could. That's a close one to say. I mean, the 95 maybe was coming down, but at the same time, it looks like the 07 does slightly get up into him. Just hard racing at the end of the day. And that sends Jacob Musso around. And then they kind of split 3 wide, trying to avoid it. Johnny McCulchuk, Cody Richardson get together. That's what turns the 72 hard into the outside. Well, that was a big hit for Johnny McCulchuk. Does a ton of damage. And Cody Richardson, playoff driver, did not want to see himself involved in this wreck. And that's a pretty good hit for Cody as well, as he gets clobbered from behind as Alan Bajari piles in. Matthew Gieringer as well with nowhere to go. Get a couple different angles of this. As Musso survives this with the least amount of damage. Just hard for a lot of guys to get on the brakes that quick. Sometimes it's kind of a blind shot as you come into view. In fact, let's see if we can take a quick ride on board right here with Matthew Gieringer through this, as he probably had a pretty good shot of this one just before contact. You can see, I mean, he doesn't see anything at this point. Gets really high in the corner, can't see anything. Doesn't see anything still. Now all of a sudden he sees something, and just no chance at being able to check up that late. So another tough break brings out another caution here at Martinsville. Again, 9th one of the night. We are still not quite at the 200 lap mark just yet. Joshua Watson, though, I was wondering if maybe he would have to play some strategy. Tyler Marble, after that little bit of a short stint right there, it's going to put him on the inside behind your leader. I think that might be a position he actually wants to be in right here. But then as we looking back here, Joshua Watson, remember he was in 18th last we got to check on him. And since then he has made up, looks like 5 positions now, going to be starting from 13th. So I'm telling you, if we can get a couple short stints here with some cautions, maybe the 01 has to do a little bit of strategy, but he very well could find himself back at the front. And I don't think he necessarily has any super hard feelings towards Tyler Marble, but I don't think he's necessarily too happy with the 48. If he gets back up there, I don't think he's going to give him too much patience. We'll put it that way if that's what the 48 is wanting. All right, here we go. Pace car back onto the pits. And once we take the green here, it is going to be just over 70 laps to go at Martinsville. Still, I guess, in hindsight, starting to close things down, but still a lot of racing left to go. 3 spots left for the final 4. Green flag is back in the air. It's a good jump on the inside for Matthew Cox. Andrew Kotska going to see if he can hang even and maybe fill in the gap. Not going to be able to do it. Tyler Marble quickly to the inside of the 47. Now the 47 is going to draw back even with Matthew Cox as they go down into turn 3. Hard battling out back. Joshua Watson on the inside looking to pick off a position from Richardson. Contact. That sends Grigsby down low. Almost another wreck. Everybody was able to save it though. And so we stay green. Now Marble's going to go around. Tyler Marble on the 48 spins. Heavy damage as he gets it to the outside wall. And a bad night has gone to worse for the 48 machine. Couldn't tell if there was... Oh, Kotska spun further up ahead. Was one of your leaders. Man, oh man. Can you tell it's a full moon night? What in the world have we got going on here tonight? Craziness all over the track. Let's take a look here. Did not expect the 48 to go around. Did he just get a little bit loose right here? Let's take a look. He did. Just loses it by himself. And you got to wonder if, again, maybe he was getting a little bit too much into his own head right here and just put the power down a little too early. Let's take a look from the onboard cam. I think this will be the storyteller. Here we go. Gets into one. Oh, no. He got up on the curb. He just slightly clipped the curb. That gets the back tires off the ground. At the same time, he goes to tap the throttle. No grip, and yeah, just sends it around. And once he starts to lose it, he's already got a whole crowd of people there that just piling in with nowhere to go. And Adrian Watts is the first man to arrive on scene. Actually, let's back that up. That gave a really good shot of that. So one more time. Watch him get just slightly on the curb right here. Boom, there it is. Doesn't take much, but that causes a little bit of wheel hop in the back. So as soon as he puts the throttle down, it immediately sends it around. And man, Jeff Marble looks like just snuck by on the outside. Danny Gutierrez, another one of the playoff drivers, trying to make it to the next round. He makes some contact. Fitzgerald gets involved, and then, Thomas O'Hara with a late pile-in, and then, man, that could have been bad, and it was for the 31 of Matthew Geiringer, who missed it initially, but was going a little fast there when he turned back to the right, spun around. Now, what happens up here with Andrew Kotska? That's the next question. Not involved in the initial incident and was running second, but gets involved in this secondary one. Oh, man. Just as Tyler Marble is going around, him and the leader, Matthew Cox, make some contact. And you're going to see that sends the 47 to the inside. He tries to save it, a little bit of an overcorrection, and that's a big hit as well. Heavy damage for Andrew Kotska. And so what looked like a chance for maybe him to capitalize on some of these guys' mistake, maybe go for a win, is now turned into heavy damage and potentially a night ender for the driver of the 47. So, again, a ton of chaos going on here in these last 70 laps or so. And you see Danny Gutierrez from the blimp cam. He's got some damage on the front of his 08 Ford Mustang. But up front, Matthew Cox currently leading the way. And now Jeff Marble finds this race maybe late in his hands here. Matthew Cox with a fast car. We'll see how these two battle it out. Adrian Watts back in third, up 16 from where he started. Danny Gutierrez currently rounding edge top 4 again. A little bit of damage. We'll see how bad that affects him here. Brian Conklin back in 5th. Kyle Oakley 6th. Jeff Shutt in 7th. Joshua Watson moved up now to the 8th position. Again, we talked about it. These short cautions continue to help that 01 make up a couple positions. Get a restart, make up a couple positions, get a restart, and he's almost back to where he was. I think if he can make up a couple more spots, then we will see this 01 track down the leaders again before this thing is all said and done. So any of you Joshua Watson fans, don't count him out just yet. Jeff Shutt back in 9th, or excuse me, Cody Richardson back in 9th. Jeffrey Souza rounding out your top 10. Pace car makes the hard left turn. Get ready to see the green flag again. 65 laps to go when we cross the start-finish line.
Green flag.
And now I would say at this point in the race, we are definitely not expecting any more green flag stops. Only time you're taking tires from this point on is if we get a caution if you want to take them. As they work their way through 1 and 2, Jeff Marble looked like maybe got bullied around just a little bit there by Adrian Watts, who gave him a little shot in the door through the corner. Danny Gutierrez trying to make it stick on the outside there of Brian Conklin. And how about Brian Conklin? We talked about he basically is going to need to win this race to make it into the next round. And here he is, finds himself up inside the top 5 and just outside the top 3. I think Brian might need a late caution, but showing some speed here late, and with all the trouble that we've seen a lot of the other fast cars have so far, certainly a possibility. Going back to where Tyler Marble is, currently finds himself in the pits as he is just getting whatever damage he needed to get repaired, finished up. And so as he works his way back out on track now, he has got a lot of ground that he needs to make up here. Yeah, it looks like he's being scored currently a lap down. If it stands at that, and he's the first man a lap down, he should be okay. Joshua Watson behind him now. Tyler on fresher tires should be able to pull away from the 0-1 right here, though. And so, yeah, it looks like, I mean, Tyler, I think, is going to get his lap back here the hard way, actually. But just taking a look here, and, yeah, it looks like Tyler is currently being scored as the first car a lap down in 16th. And so as he now knocks on the back door of Danny Gutierrez, these guys might want to let him by. That 48 knows that he has got to go. And so I don't know how much patience he is going to show with some of these guys that he's got to still get around. 60 laps to go now at the line. Johnny Mikulchuk, not for, going up a little bit further, excuse me. Johnny Mikulchuk, not for position as a 72, involved in quite a few incidents here tonight. You see how much damage he's got on the front end. Currently sitting, looks like 2 laps down. And these guys trying to work their way around. You can see, even lap cars, it's just so hard to pass here at Martinsville. Meanwhile, up front, Matthew Cox, some of the damage he's got on his left front from that contact with Andrew Kotska. Adrian Watts back in second, half a second behind the rookie, 2 rookies. And then Jeff Marble, currently your highest running playoff driver, in 3rd. Brian Conklin 4th. Joshua Watson back in 5th. Cody Richardson in 6th. Jeff Shutt in 7th. Danny Gutierrez 8th. Kyle Oakley 9th. And Austin Fitzgerald currently rounding out your top 10. Taking a look here, though, at Joshua Watson, trying to make up whatever positions he can here. Gonna, again, have to probably get another caution or 2, but now he's looking to the inside of the 72. He was able to get by his teammate Danny Gutierrez and Cody Richardson. A little bit of a 2-for-1 right there. So now the next man that he's going to be looking to get by is Brian Conklin, who sits, looks like, about a quarter of a track in front of the 0-1 right now. So he's got some work. And Tyler Marble continuing to try to catch the leaders. Hasn't been able to get it yet, but again, all he needs is a caution here to get back on the lead lap. And man, you know, he wants one really, really bad right now. And as those tires start to wear out, Watson is going to continue to put the pressure on the back bumper of the 48. And again, even though it's not for position, Tyler doesn't really want to have to look in his mirror right now if he doesn't have to. He wants to focus out front. And speaking of out front, Jeff Marble here in 3rd. Looks like he's got a little damage on the front of his car. Right side, he's been in a couple incidents today. In fact, I mean, there's not many cars that we have left on this track without a scratch. It has been brutal here tonight at Martinsville. But everybody getting ready for Phoenix next week. I'll tell you what, Phoenix, it's a short track, but it races. I'll tell you what, it races above its grade. They call it a short track. We see speeds of upwards, I think about 160s in terms of miles per hour there, down that long dogleg front straightaway. And then big sweeping turns certainly make for some interesting racing. It's going to be a fun one after that. Of course, we head into the off season again. I believe Alan Fajari has some sort of a winter league that will be set up. Make sure you check that out. If you need any info on it, we can certainly relay that to you. But as we look over at what the point situation, well, we know what the point situation is looking like for the playoff guys. Can't forget about the non-playoff driver battle, though. Adrian Watts leading that battle and looking good here tonight with the run he's putting down to maybe secure that, assuming he can have a good race next week at Phoenix. Thomas O'Hara 2nd, Jeffrey Souza 3rd, Jared Bundy 4th, Glenn Grigsby 5th in that battle, Kyle Oakley 6th, Jacob Musso in 7th, Cody Matthews 8th, Richard Elliott in 9th, and Ryan Haynes currently rounding out your top 10. And I'll tell you what, Adrian Watts right there, he got really, really close to the back bumper of Matthew Cox. Could not quite make the move work. So he has to settle again for a second. And now Jeff Marble closing the gap on these two as he sees them starting to struggle for grip just a little bit in front of him. And Adrian Watts, I think, is using up his stuff here, trying everything to get to the back bumper of that 32 machine. Nothing going yet as Joshua Watson has found a way around Tyler Marble. I thought Tyler had taken new tires. He may not have. Not sure for this 48, or maybe he's decided to just take it a little bit easy at this point in the race. He's going to need a caution, so he figures there's no point in pushing his tires and pushing the issue. Maybe stay out, try to get some track position. But as they run now, it is really flipped the picture for a loop now. I mean, as it stands, we know Joshua Watson's locked in. Austin Fitzgerald is probably still safe to go. Jeff Marble as well. But that 4th spot, I mean, you look around right here. Danny Gutierrez earlier we thought had it. He's in 10th. I think it's a really close race between him, Cody Richardson, and Brian Conklin still. I think mainly between him and Richardson, actually, on who's going to get that final spot. Tyler Marble, right now as he stands, would be out. And, of course, some of the other guys, Andrew Kotska, nowhere to be found as he got that heavy damage. He is now back in 15th, and I think that might have brought the 47's night to an end, bearing nothing crazy happening these next 50 laps. And as we have finally hit that final 50 lap to go mark here at Martinsville, and the 500-mile event draws within 1/5. The last fifth of the race, and where we head next on Ghost Racing Network, by the way, is going to be not tomorrow night. RMR taking the week off for Halloween, and of course, we wish everybody a happy Halloween here from Ghost Racing Network, kind of our day. And then Thursday night, PGR Thursday Night Heat Series is back. We saw a good event last week, and I believe they're considering trying a new car, the old Gen 6s, so make sure that you come check that out. It's going to be a fun one. I'm almost tempted to go racing that myself. We'll have to see how things all work out. Adrian Watts starting to close back up now on the rookie. He closed it up one time, got a little loose here. Matthew Cox, we saw how good he was throughout this race on the short run. The long run was where he started to fade just a little bit. We'll see if that's the case here. Lap traffic probably going to play a role in this race before it's all said and done as well. As you can see, there is now just under half a track separating your leader. And it looks like the 15th place running car of Andrew Kotska, who is currently the last man on the lead lap. And so Tyler Marble wants to see that caution before anybody else goes a lap down, because if we get one after, and again, that would really hurt the strategy for the 48 machine. Guys, think about everywhere that every point that has led up to this moment. And some guys saying, man, what if they could have just got one more position in this race? One more point over in this race, a qualifying. I mean, it's just so many things that all come down to these final couple races. And we're going to see what we seem to see every season in series such as the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup series. The final spot or two in the playoffs is going to be denoted by a difference of 1 to 2 points between two guys. And that difference is going to be what decides a chance at going for a championship and not, as we're going to be hitting 41 laps to go at the line this time. Matthew Cox still leading. Adrian Watts putting a lot of pressure. The leading, yellow flag is out. That's what Tyler Marble wants to see. As further back, looks like we got trouble with the 98 or 95, of Jacob Musso. And I believe this is his second or third time going around here tonight. He is another driver that has been involved in quite a few of them. Let's see if he got some help. Or does he go around all by himself right here? This is coming out of turn 2, and this is going to look like a repeat of what we saw with Tyler Marble. You see, he just gets on the curbs. Yeah, I tell you what, that is, identical to what we saw with Tyler Marble. Makes a little bit of contact to the inside wall, nothing too bad. But the curbs, they keep getting all these guys. It's just so hard to stay off of them. You don't try to touch them, but you're trying to hug as close as you can to them, and here you go. Boom, there it is, just ever so slight. Sends him around into the inside wall. Nobody else gets involved. As we take a couple more looks at it here. So as the field arrives on scene, let's take one more view here actually with Jacob Musso. Looks like maybe after the fact, not sure if Cody Matthews had some issues. So we're going to take a look at next. This is after the caution had waved. Not sure if he just came to a stop or actually hit something here. Thinking he just came to a stop. As Cody Matthews, he starts getting back up to speed. A little bit of a checkup here. And yeah, he's just going to go ahead and bring it to a little bit of a halt real quick. And close calls there. Everybody had to bob and weave trying to get onto the pits. And so as we go back live, another man that wanted to see that caution was Joshua Watson. This will give him another chance to make up some of these positions on the restart. Maybe try to get into the top 3, maybe get another late caution here and a chance at going for the win. And so as we take a look at your top 3, Adrian Watts now leading the way. Matthew Cox brought it down to the pits. Going to try some tire strategy. It's Jeff Marble currently sitting in second. By the way, Adrian Watts up 18 positions from where he started tonight. Doing a heck of a job. Brian Conklin back in third. Kyle Oakley in fourth. Matthew Cox rounding at your top 5. Joshua Watson, there he is in 6th. Cody Richardson 7th. Jeff Shutt in 8th. Austin Fitzgerald 9th. And it's going to be Danny Gutierrez still hanging around, rounding at your top 10. Tyler Marble 15th. Talked about it. He did get that lap back, but he is going to have to go like a madman right here if he wants to get back to the front with the amount of laps left. And again, I don't think he's going to be taking much of anything right here. Not going to have a lot of patience, because if he runs out of laps here, even if we get a late caution, as it stands right now, I think he has to finish about 5 spots ahead of Danny Gutierrez if he even wants a chance at making that final spot. You throw Cody Richardson into the equation as well. So the point being here is that 48, he knows he has to go. I think he would like to see probably another caution here in about 5 or 10 laps. But if he played some strategy, maybe took some tires there once he got the lucky dog, whatever he's got to try, we'll see if he's got enough time to do it. And this restart is going to be a fun one. Very chaotic, to say the least. And make sure you get yourself a drink. Get ready, because it's going to be a fun one. It will be, looks like 35 laps to go. Make it 36 when we cross the line this time. Not much longer here at Martinsville. That is only, actually less than 36 miles to see who are going to be our remaining 3 championship 4 drivers. Green flag is back in the air. 36 laps to go at Martinsville. Not a good restart for Tyler Marble. You saw the back with big checkups. That's going to cost him some time as he quickly dove to the inside of Andrew Kotska and others. And now he'll try to pick off Jeffrey Souza as he continues to try to make his way to the front of the field. Meanwhile, up front, Adrian Watts quickly with the lead. Watson's going to go around. Big hit into the outside wall for Joshua Watson. Tyler Marble sneaks by as everybody else trying to avoid him. The second incident now tonight for the 01 that he's been involved in, and you got to wonder, did he get some help on this one? So as he gets it spun back around in the right direction, going to have some damage from this one on the front end. Let's go take a look. What brings out your 12th caution here of the night. And so Joshua Watson on the outside here just gets loose on him. We had saw a couple guys get loose from the outside line earlier, including Jared Bundy, and Watson was just trying to make up some speed here on the outside. Just maybe a little too greedy with the throttle. The outside just not nearly as much grip. And as part of that, just gets loose, whips right around, and as soon as he goes around again, usually you're going to have some guys behind you here, and that is exactly what was the case. Jeff Shutt, Danny Gutierrez sitting not far behind, and as soon as Watson goes around, overcorrects. Jeff Shutt's there into the outside wall, goes Watson with a pretty hard shot for him, and Jeff Shutt. Kotska sneaks by, and so did Tyler Marble. He was able to pick up just a couple positions in that wreck. So we take a couple more looks at it, and I would say that one is going to, again, hinder the chances of, well, what was looking like a comeback here for Joshua Watson. And we know it just about any track we head to. When you get thrown out of your rhythm, it's so hard to get back into it. But, man, seems like when you lose all the position on top of that, and then you get in a second incident, just don't know if Joshua Watson will be able to recover here for the rest of the night after that one. So there goes Tyler Marble, sneaking to the inside. 64 of Glenn Grigsby. Was able to get through that as well. We'll take one more view here from the static cam. And certainly one of many tangles that we have seen here tonight at Martinsville. And this will now put us with a restart under 30 laps to go. And if I'm any of the leaders, if you got a set of tires that you're planning on using, I think you have got to put them on now. I don't even know if it's worth coming in now with how important track position's been this whole race, but if there's even a thought, you got to do it now, because after this, there's just not going to be enough laps left. I mean, we have seen guys on new tires tonight not been able to make up that many positions, at least not up to this point. I don't know if I see that changing so much for the better as this race continues to go on. So it'll be 220 laps complete when we cross the line. This time should get the one to go signal. And it'll be Adrian Watts lining up with the lead. Jeff Marble second. And, well, Jeff, we talked about he's looking good in points again. A win would lock him in. Brian Conklin third. He really needs a good run here tonight. Well, he's got a good run, but he needs a win more than anything, I think. It's Kyle Oakley back in 5th. Cody Richardson 6th. Austin Fitzgerald 7th. Danny Gutierrez in 8th. Scott Glasso in 9th. Jeff Shutt rounding out your top 10. Jeff Marble, see what he can do here from the outside on the inside, back in 3rd. There's Brian Conklin in the 37. Telling you, if he is able to slip in front of Jeff Marble, this will be his best chance, but he's going to have to find a way to win it. And we'll see if he can do it. All right, here we go. Going to be exactly 30 laps to go. Pace car pulls off. Adrian Watts on the inside looking for the green flag. He's got it. It's a good jump for the inside. Not so much for Brian Conklin. Jeff Marble is going to be able to tuck second in line. I think Conklin got caught sleeping there just a little bit. He really needed to get a good restart there. Now he's racing alongside the rookie Matthew Cox as they drag race down the back straightaway. Cody Richardson looking to make some moves. Ooh, got into the corner just a little bit too hot. Some contact between him and Kyle Oakley out back. And everybody's still fighting for anything they can get. There's a look at Tyler Marble in the 48. a little bit further back in the pack here, currently racing just in front of Joshua Watson. He is trying to get to the inside here of Scott Glasso. Glasso going to block off that move, so now the 48 will have to wait yet another quarter to make the pass. Still a lot of patience being shown as everybody's going to line up single file here pretty quickly. Brian Conklin, though, continuing to race with Matthew Cox. He knows how important this position is. Can't risk giving it up, not with the amount of laps that we have left in this race. And so as he stays side by side here, continues to allow Adrian Watts to pull away. Jeff Marble, can he maybe track down your leader and see if he can maybe go for a shot at winning this thing? See, Scott Glasso has some damage, but it's just a traffic jam. Tyler Marble can't go anywhere because as soon as he goes to make a move, he's got Kyle Oakley in front of him. And again, if he needs to, he could split Oakley 3 wide. Hasn't chose to do so just yet. And he's hoping that Kyle Oakley can finish getting around. Glasso gets loose into Watson. Joshua Watson will get collected in another wreck here. It brings out another yellow, make that the 13th caution of the night. And so as we go back up front, Adrian Watts still maintaining your lead, and now 25 laps to go. And Martinsville starting to turn into bumper cars. Here we go. Let's take a look here. This is coming off of 4. I mean, there was a couple different incidents right here. First one up ahead was going to be Danny Gutierrez make some contact with the wall, but the one that causes the caution is Scott Glasso just getting loose off of 4. I mean, doesn't look like he really had any help, but he was on that outside line a little bit, and we saw Watson actually just about the same exact place during that last caution right here. Tries to get it to turn, gets loose, gets down into Joshua Watson. Jeff Shutt with nowhere to go. Same deal for Glenn Grigsby, able to pile in. And we'll take a couple more views of this one. And it has been that kind of night at Martinsville here late. And each caution that we get late just encourages another one, because everybody continues to see all these things changing. I mean, what looked like a pretty solidified Final 4 here about halfway through the race. It looks nothing like that at this point. I mean, I couldn't even tell you who's got the last 2 positions. Austin Fitzgerald, I think, is still in as of now, but everyone else just continues to change up so much. I think Jeff Marble's got himself in a good spot, so maybe narrow it down to 1. Man, oh man, this will put us at a restart with just about 20 laps to go. And it is still Adrian Watts leading the way. Jeff Marble back in 2nd. Brian Conklin 3rd. Matthew Cox in 4th. Cody Richardson 5th. Danny Gutierrez back in 6th. He needs to finish this thing off with probably a top 3. But Tyler Marble is the man who I think wanted to see that caution. He has gained 3 more positions during that last run. Now up inside the top 10. So while it might be slow, progress is progress. And any position that the 48 can pick up here is going to be very, very crucial for how this race finishes up. But how about Adrian Watts? Looking for his first win on the season. How cool would it be to get a grandfather clock and get a win here in the playoffs at Martinsville with only 1 race remaining after tonight left in the season? And so we will indeed... Nope, we're not going to get the one-to-go signal. So this will put us with a restart with 20 laps to go, as the field will come around one more time. I'll tell you what, Jeff Marble looking pretty calm, cool, and collected right now. He knows what he's got to do, and that is execute and stay right around the area that he's been sitting for the last 100 laps or so for the next 20 laps. And I know it's still a ways to go, but if we can make it to that white flag, this race would be official. As, oh, there's contact out back. Sounded like somebody blew a motor. And not sure if that was exactly the case or what happened here. And so, yeah, sure enough, now the pace car will turn the lights off. We get the one-to-go signal, and it will be exactly 20 laps to go to decide a winner here at Martinsville. Again, I want to say big thanks to everyone that is still tuning in, excuse me. It has been a long one so far, coming up on 2 hours here in just about 10 minutes. Should have this thing wrapped up right around then. As Misfire 00 Brian, I'm thinking that's Brian Watson, says go get him, Watts 08. All right, here we go. Pace car making the hard left turn into the Geico restart zone, potentially for the final time. Brian Conklin, can he make a better restart this time than what he got last time? We're going to find out. Green flag in the air. 37 gets caught sleeping again. Big stack up. We are going to have more trouble here. And 08 trying to save it. Almost went around. Some contact between him and Tyler Marble. absolute chaos out back, but Tyler Marble makes it through. Somebody missed a shift on that restart, and it caused for all sorts of chaos. Let's see if we can take a look. Coming into the restart zone, Brian Conklin gets caught sleeping a little bit, but it's the outside lane that really has the big trouble here. And, ooh, yeah, it's wheel spin for the rookie, Matthew Cox. Danny Gutierrez piles in, and then, man, that was a close call down into turn one between Tyler Marble and Danny Gutierrez. They both save it, continue on. Danny fell some spots that he did not need to lose right there. But up front, Adrian Watts retains the lead. Jeff Marble in second, Brian Conklin third, Matthew Cox in fourth. Cody Richardson now fifth, Austin Fitzgerald sixth. And there's Tyler Marble up to seventh, but still looking for more. Going back to the rest of the field, they've all single filed out. I mean, we have eliminated quite a few cars. Looks like at this point, 19th on back. And remember, we started with 25 cars have retired from the race. As you see, ooh, Danny Gutierrez, he had to pit, and this is a bad sign as the 15th position car of Danny Gutierrez now a lap down. And with that damage, that is probably going to end the playoff run for the 08. He would need quite a few cautions here, but that damage I think is going to finish his night off. As he races alongside now, Tyler Marble, fresher tires I believe for that 08. We'll see if he can hold on and try to get around this 48 here. Tyler Marble not liking any part of this. He is saying, come on, man, I have got to go. Danny sends him a little bit high up off the turn. Tyler will tuck in line as the 08 goes on through. And now it's 15 laps to go at Martinsville. A lot of hard racing here. Ooh, Tyler Marble slips up just a little bit. Try not to let Andrew Kotz go by, but the 47 is going to sneak to the outside up front. Adrian Watts trying to put some safe distance between him and second place Jeff Marble. As he crosses 14 laps to go, the gap is now up to about half a second. But you can't count out Jeff just yet, trying to close. What does Jeff have left in these next 13 and a quarter laps? Brian Conklin talked about he's probably going to need a win, but at the same time, with as much chaos as we've seen at the end, you never know. Maybe there's a chance the 37 is able to point himself in. The 32, Matthew Cox, is banged up as that car has gotten tonight. He has still got a top 5 run going. There's Cody Richardson from Ad Sim Racing. He's got some damage in the back of his car as well, and the front, Austin Fitzgerald trying to hold on to the position here. That is not fourth position, actually, as Danny Gutierrez just going by to see if he can get up to the leader and maybe get one of those laps back. 12 laps to go at the line. The gap closed up just about a tenth there. And remember, if you get to within probably, I would say, about 2/10 of the car in front of you, you have a chance to give him a little bump and run. But in all seriousness, I think if Jeff gets to Adrian here, he doesn't push the issue too hard. I think he kind of has an idea of what the points are looking like in his head. He knows that he was good coming in, and a second place run, certainly nothing bad, and caution's going to fly. As the 37, oh man, heartbreak here as well for Brian Conklin. He was running third. He needed a win, and now sits in 14th as the 14th caution of the night. Let's go back, take a look. I'm thinking Brian may have gotten a little help here, but I could be mistaken. Let's take a look from the chopper view. He'd been running third. Matthew Cox had been running him hard as they get into the corner here. Cox just sends him around. You know, I mean, that's one where up here in the broadcast booth, got to kind of limit myself to the opinion that I give on this one. As he sends him up out of the groove a little bit there, and then he just hits him in the left rear once. Gets him twice, and then just kind of finishes him off right here. Right on board with Brian Conklin before we take a final look at it here. Down into the corner. Brian got a little shot. I mean, he saves the first bump. But it's the second and third bump that really finish things off. Let's back it up a little further here. See if maybe I missed something to the last set of corners or so. And so Matthew Cox, again, had been working on for a while. Things look good here. As they get down the front straightaway, Matthew Cox makes a little contact with the outside wall and then just gets in and gets on him and never really gets off of him. I mean, in all fairness, again, you got to assume that Matthew Cox no intention to do that, but I mean, he's a rookie, you know he's going to learn, but I mean, Brian Conklin not going to be happy with that one at all. Matthew Cox not running for a championship for Brian Conklin in the best position to have a chance at making the next round, and unfortunately, getting sent around here again is probably going to just about end his night. He had worked all night to get in this position, been through a couple incidents. And like I said, definitely not happy. It's Brian Conklin right now. Looks like now we're going to get a restart with what should be, looks like it'll be 5 to go, as we did not get the one to go signal this time. Adrian Watts still leading, looking to hold him off 4 or 5 more laps. Jeff Marble in second. Matthew Cox now up to third. Cody Richardson back in fourth. Austin Fitzgerald fifth. Tyler Marble in sixth. Joshua Watson, after all the bumping and banging he's been through here tonight, is now back up into seventh. Andrew Kotska eighth. Glenn Grigsby ninth. Kyle Oakley rounding out your top 10. And looks like currently we got 15 still running on the lead lap. And 16th on back, either a lap down or retired from the race. And so we'll see if we indeed get the one-go signal this time. Not quite overtime just yet. If we get a caution at any point on from this point, then of course it would send us into overtime. And again, let's not take away from the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series in terms of the last week at Homestead and the week before that at Vegas. The racing had been phenomenal, very clean. To a certain degree, you kind of expect what we've seen a lot of here tonight at Martinsville. It's just a really tough track, one groove of racing, bumper to bumper. You know there's going to be cautions. There certainly has been quite a few here tonight, but I think these guys will have it cleaned up. We'll see a lot of green flag and good racing next week at Phoenix as we see who can claim a championship. But first, we got to get things settled here. So, again, for potentially the final time as the pace car pulls off, Marble and Watts into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. It's a pretty good jump for Adrian Watts. He gets out to a nice lead. Just behind him, Jeff Marble trying to keep it down on the door of the rookie, trying to hold any position he can further back. We're going to have another spin here, and this is not going to bring out the caution. Does not bring out the caution. Does everybody get it back going here? Looks like they're going to. Bill Benedict runs through the cone. They did. Cannot believe that didn't draw the caution unless there's maybe a rule with it that they've had about late cautions here at the end of the race. Cody Richardson with a big lockup right there off of 2. And he's going to lose a couple spots. Meanwhile, up front, the battle is still on for the lead. Matthew Cox now getting around Jeff Marble as they see 3 laps to go. Now Austin Fitzgerald going to look to the inside of the 15 machine. The 03 going to try to hold off Matthew Cox. Matthew Cox has had to move one guy out of the way already. We'll see if he's willing to move another. Big arch down into the corner for the 32. Maybe a little contact there as they work out of the corner. He's going to go around. The 03 of Matthew Cox hard into the inside wall, and it's going to bring the caution out. We will have to try yet again for another restart. As Matthew Cox with some more damage to the front end of his Ford Mustang. And let's go take a look. Looked pretty plain and simple from that view. Looked like he just got loose. As hard as he had been run right there. Yeah, on the back bumper of Adrian Watson. Just going to go around here. Yeah, trying to get in the throttle as early as he can. Try to maintain as much speed as possible. Fortunately, though, he got in it just a little bit too early. Car comes around on him. The rest is history. Taking a look here. Some of the other views. I think everybody was able to miss this, at least for the most part. It doesn't look like anybody else had gotten collected. And so as he spins, that'll send Matthew Cox to the back, ultimately probably ending his night as well. And now this will send us into our first of 3 overtimes, as it draws the 15th caution of the night. And I'll tell you what, Adrian Watts still looking like he has got a good chance at finishing this thing off. Austin Fitzgerald, though, now up to second, and Joshua Watson back in play as he sits third. He could have a shot at winning this thing. Just behind him, Jeff Marble and Tyler Marble back inside the top 5. We'll see what he can do. All right, so as we wait to get the one to go signal, hoping we can get this thing wrapped up in a single overtime, we are going to take our final break here of the night. Stick with us. We'll be right back for the conclusion of the Martinsville Fall 250. Back live at Martinsville, getting ready for overtime number 1. Adrian Watts on the inside, Austin Fitzgerald on the outside. Back into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. 2 laps to go at Martinsville. Everybody off to a good start as they dive down into turn number 1. Joshua Watson now going to take over second. Going to race his teammate here as hard as he can. Now he looks to the inside. Adrian Watts, the rookie. Joshua Watson, the veteran. And they're going to go side by side off of 4. How much slack does Watson give him? Not an inch as they take the white flag one more time around. Joshua Watson to the inside trying to get clear. Can Adrian Watts make it stick on the outside? He's not going to be able to do it. Now Austin Fitzgerald working his way to the inside. But how about the man that got more damage than probably the rest of the field tonight out of turn 4? He is going to make it 3 in a row. Joshua Watson comes back to win it at Martinsville. And how does he do it? Finds another win. That's 3 in a row. He is going to be on a hot streak for Phoenix next week. Now the question going to be how the points play out. This is just my guess, nothing official. We know Joshua Watson's in the final 4. I think Austin Fitzgerald will be in there as well. I think Jeff Marble's got himself in, and I think Tyler Marble may have claimed that last spot. But again, it's going to be really, really close. So we'll have to find out. Seeing some fist bumps still on the driver cams for the driver, the number 48. So I'm thinking he may have gotten the job done. All right, as he comes down to burn it down here. It's a 1-2 finish for JBR Racing, so they got plenty to be excited about here. I think we're going to see a little double burnout right here from these two. And as they do just that, let's take a look at your finishing results here for the night. Joshua Watson brings home the win. Adrian Watson second, Austin Fitzgerald third, Tyler Marble in fourth. Jeff Marble finishes back in fifth, Jeffrey Souza in sixth. Johnny McCulchuk seventh, Danny Gutierrez eighth, Kyle Oakley ninth. Scott Glasser rounding out your top 10. It's going to be Andrew Kotska in 11th. Brian Conklin 12th, Cody Richardson in 13th. Jeff Shutt finishes in 14th. Glenn Grigsby in 15th. Cody Matthews 16th. Bill Benedict in 17th. Jacob Musso finishing in 18th. Moving on back, rounding edge top 20 tonight is going to be Thomas O'Hara and Matthew Geiringer. Alan Bajari finishes 21st. Dave Sanders 22nd. Jared Bundy 23rd with Brett Spod 24th and Matthew Cox 25th. And there you go. There's the dual burnouts. Both of the JBR Racing drivers, that's a big deal to them. Phenomenal job by both the drivers. Man, Adrian Watts so close, but his teammate beats him out just by a lap. We are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Martinsville. All right, back live at Martinsville Speedway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Austin Fitzgerald. Austin, you got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Well, I'll tell you what, a good run to end what was an absolutely crazy night for the entire field. You lock yourself into the championship 4. How you feeling about tonight's race?
I'm feeling good about that. I'm just trying to think about that right now, but honestly, kind of in this moment, I'm just upset at myself for getting such a bad restart there. I was late to get on the throttle, and then when I finally did get up to the throttle, I spun the tires. So I feel like I could probably had a good chance there. So a little mad at myself there. But yeah, I'm just trying to look past that and yeah, be grateful that I'm in the final four, and yeah, I'll see what I can bring to the table next week.
Well, you've proven that you got speed at these short tracks. How you feeling about Phoenix next week?
Yeah, today for the most part I was pretty off. I was kind of bummed out, you know. So I'm fortunate to even get a top 3 here. I mean, I did good here in the spring in Martinsville, but I don't know. I was just missing something today, and just with the way the race played out, I happened to find myself up towards the front, towards the end there. But regarding Phoenix, again, I was fast in the spring, so I think I led some laps or finished pretty decent at least that race. So, and I like Phoenix in general. So yeah, I think got a solid shot. So I'll just, you know, seek some advice from the team, work on some setups, and yeah, see if we win this thing.
All right. Well, before we let you head out tonight, is anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Acoustic Design Systems. Go to Acoustic Design LV if you're in the Las Vegas area for all of your audio video needs. Like always, thanks to my wife, my kids, and thank you, man, for the broadcasts, and thanks to everybody who races in this league showing up. You know, we have great participation in this league, and it's really competitive, and for the most part, it's really clean. Today probably wasn't a great example of that, but yeah, it's a great league, and yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Austin, and we will see you next week at Phoenix.
Thank you. And one more thing. Thank you, Dynamic Auto Sports, my team, and everything they do for me. All right. See you next week, Austin.
All right. Sounds good. Next up, that leads us to your second place finisher here tonight, and that would be the rookie, Adrian Watts. Adrian, this is Austin up in the booth. Get a copy. And let me go ahead and make sure I get your audio right here. All right, well, I'll tell you what, a phenomenal run for you as well tonight. You come up about 1 lap short of beating the boss man. Tell us about that battle at the end.
Oh man, I was yelling at him to stay back, but you know, Josh, he's gonna win, and you know, it's more important for him to have that momentum going into the last race. So I was fighting him, but you know, he had a whole lot fresher tires than me, so I wasn't gonna fight too hard.
Well, we look at the non-playoff drivers championship, where we know there's going to be some money on the line for the guys that, or the guy with the highest average finishing not in the playoffs. You lead that battle, and after tonight, I feel like you got to have it all but locked down. So what's the game strategy then for the final race next week?
I still want that win. I mean, I know they're going to be fighting for a championship, but hopefully it's for second place because I want to be out front.
Certainly looking like you are knocking on the doorstep of getting that first win. Before we let you go, though, tonight, is anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just my teammates at JBR. We've been working together for a long time now, and just Josh is making us all better. Richard is a great coach, and you know, I wish we could have got him in. Brian's awesome. Ryko for the awesome setups. Tyler and Jeff for the league. Everybody in the league. It's a pretty awesome league, and you guys putting on this broadcast, it's awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Adrian. Congrats on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Now that is going to bring us to your winner tonight. JBRE Racing's Joshua Watson makes it 3 in a row. Josh, you got a copy?
Yes, I do, bud.
All right. Well, you raced your rookie teammate really hard at the end, tried to carry the momentum. You did just that. I mean, at this point, you got to feel like you got the championship locked up, no?
No, anything can happen. I mean, all this regular season wins and yeah, one more. Sorry, I had a cough. No, it really, to me, I wouldn't say locked up. I mean, anything can happen. Austin's fast, Jeff's fast. I think we got Danny in, I believe. If not, it's going to be close. He's really good too, so I would say anything but locked up. To me, the wins in the regular season championship don't mean nothing unless we can go out, perform at Phoenix, and win the championship. So I'm not going to go in there saying we got it won, because that's when things happen. We're going to go in there like we do every week, like we have been with the playoffs. It's, you know, one race season. We got to go put our best foot forward now, and hopefully we can come out on top.
Well, nonetheless, whatever happens next week, it has been a heck of a season. Well over 10 wins on the season, 3 in a row here in the last stretch of the playoffs. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out tonight?
Everybody on JBRE Racing, all my teammates, heck of a job day during the night. Had it not been for the cautions there at the end, he definitely had it. We had a little fresher tires. I was hoping he was going to stick a little lower, but we were so close on incidents with some of the stuff we had that I didn't want to check up and take a chance of getting penalized. So we went with the run, but he did a heck of a battle out there. Everybody at Ryko Performance for their setup or for their customer support and their awesome setups week in and week out. Couldn't do that without any of their help. Everybody at my family, my girlfriend, my kids, my mom, my dad supporting this. We did say we wanted to get one more in this paint scheme, and we were able to, so it's nice to be able to do that. And like I said before, still thinking of everybody. Like I said, this paint scheme was in honor of my mom for that, but thinking of all the women out there that have had it, even men. It's a rare case, but it's happened. So thinking of anybody that's battling breast cancer. Hopefully this is a inspiration to them and they enjoyed this paint scheme. So just big shout out to you for the broadcast and on to next week. Now the fun begins.
Certainly does. Well, thanks for talking to us, Josh. We're looking forward to next week. We'll see you in the Championship 4.
Thank you.
All right, that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight at Martinsville. It was a crazy one. It was wild. There were some bad times and there were some good times, but at the end of the day, Joshua Watson brings home yet another win. Next week, mark it on your calendar, the championship race for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 4 guys. We'll have it later on in the week who it's going to be, all battling it out. Winner takes all. Make sure you stick around for that. As of tonight, I hope you all did enjoy. Thank you so much for sticking around. And until next time, have a good night.